We are 2 hours away from the final preseason game of 2026, and then everything gets real starting next week as the Browns start to prepare for the Jacksonville Jaguars in week one of the NFL season. And they cut their roster down to 53 players. We will know what that roster looks like by the time we talk to you next week. And I have a feeling the initial 53 on Sunday is not going to be the 53 that is going forward, because I have a feeling for some positions of need, there's going to be some waiver wire pickups or guys that are picked up by this football team. And so if you make the Browns team, don't take in being on a team just yet. Everything can always change, and that's where we get things started tonight on the Voice of Land on the Inside Edge Network. I am Kevin Arnold. He is Ryan Mosser. We are brought to you by the great people at Greeny Sports Cards, greenysportscards.com. greenysportscards.com. They are all over the place. They're all over social media. They have shows all over the place all the time. greenysportscards.com is where to get the information on that. I believe it's the Medina County Fair coming up this weekend, and they might even be there right now. Doing a lot of great stuff over there. So that's make sure to check them out. They go all over the country. Steve, Jeremy, their entire team, they are absolutely fantastic. We love to work with them, love to partner with them, and we will continue to do so as long as they will have us. Rye, before we get into the Browns and stuff like that, I feel like we need to say, condolences, rest in peace, rest in heaven to Dolly Parton, Tim Curry, Mr. Cullen, who famously voiced and has always voiced Optimus Prime of the Transformers, Hayden Panettiere, especially the last couple of weeks, but 2026 taking a lot of well-known people from our world, and of course, Dolly Parton probably being the biggest of those. A lot of big-time hits, but just an American icon, Dolly Parton. So just wanted to make sure we send that out and send out well wishes to those in Nepal. I don't know if you did you see that video?
Absolutely horrible. God, man.
There have been earthquakes in Venezuela and in Latin countries, just all over the place. And then I saw a story of, I'm not sure if you saw this too, Rye, but there were 8 people that passed away from a plane crash in Alaska involving some of our military personnel. And one of those was actually, and I'm going to bring up the exact title because I want to make sure that we represent, what the title is in the military. I forgot to bring that up before we even got started here, but I know I have it somewhere here. So one of the people of course they're going to have ads playing during that thing, but Hayden Scales, Sabrina Hansen, and Second Lieutenant Leah Borsich, project programmer assigned to the 611 Civil Engineer Squadron at Joint Base Emelendorf Richardson. What is so I wanted to bring up these names, especially Leah. She is from Wycliffe. And when I was working with the Wycliffe High School swing band, she was a member of that, a very sweet kid, a very, smart, and just knew that there were going to be big things in her future. Always a joy to work with, and was always receptive to any sort of teaching, education, whatever it may have been. So I want to say condolences to all the families of those affected by that tragedy as well, especially those that I know here in the city of Wycliffe. Lost one of the good ones here, one of the young good ones here from the city of Wycliffe. So I want to make sure we brought all of that up. Don't want to bring down the mood, right? But I just feel like it's important to remind people that we love sports, but life has its ways of letting you know life it's still there.
Yeah, definitely. It pairs up for all those people in all those situations. Very awful. Yeah, life comes at you fast, so just live it and love often. That's all I gotta say. So
Yeah. So, of course, we're dealing with a little loss around this household as well. Lost our pet rabbit this past weekend. So, we're getting by, but it's the first loss for Lincoln. So, it's kind of the first time he's really um, able to understand and things like that. But enough about life. We head to the Cleveland Browns, who don't really ever change and help change the mood for us for the
no,
good.
they suck the life out of you.
Yeah. Yeah. If life doesn't, they will. And so they have made their quarterback decision to no one's surprise. Deshaun Watson will be your day one starter in Jacksonville for the Cleveland Browns. Somebody that's the owners once said was a swing and a miss back in March of 2025. We've come all the way around to August and September of 2026. And that guy is now going to be throwing the football yet again for this Browns team. I know that whole post-game press conference was just, I mean, that was the crap sandwich on top of crap sandwiches of slapping the faces of this guy being on this team. Well, I understand he has to be on the team, but this guy still being at the forefront of this Browns offense and this Browns team.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I've taken a stance for a while now that I could always separate the off the field things, the disgustingness things that have happened off the field and the on the field play, especially if that play was good football. But honestly, after a second preseason game, when he went out there and just blamed the fans for booing him, it left a bad taste in my mouth, man. The guy is so out of touch with reality, and the thought of the boos, he thought the boos were coming because of the off the field things, not because of play. Dude is out of touch and is garbage. I nail in the coffin. I hate this guy. I don't care. I don't think him or Shedeur is good. I say that. I don't think that either of them are the future of this quarterback room, but what a disgusting human being. Like I hope that he throws touchdowns to Denzel Boston and people cheer for Denzel Boston, but then turn right around and give that dude the business because he deserves it. I mean, as long as he is wearing a Browns uniform, I'm gonna boo. Screw him.
Yeah, I see a lot more of his touchdown passes being someone, to like someone like Concepcion or Boston. They, it's like a 5-yard out and up, and then they take it the distance,
Right.
Like these deep bombs and things like that. We know the quarterback is going to take those type of chances in this quarterback room. And so, but neither one of them will play tonight. Now, I've heard the whole thing of, the fact that Deshaun Watson is the starter is a knock against Shedeur, which I understand, and there is some of that there. But I think when people say that, they go with the assumption that I'm not here to like have conspiracy theories and say that there wasn't fairness here. But Todd Monken even this week said, I think it was on his coach's show this week, that it was pretty much Watson's job until they saw Shedeur working in the offseason and in the OTAs and things like that, where he earned the ability to make this a competition. But Deshaun was always he was the starter that Todd Monken had from the beginning. So now Shedeur was the one catching up. They weren't traveling at the same spot the whole time. It was Deshaun Watson in one spot, and I don't think he ever really moved from that spot. And it was Shedeur being all the way down and trying to come all the way up. And I've heard it from many people that were at training camp, and they said, there wasn't that big of a gap between the two. Operation was there. People say, we don't see what's behind the scenes and in the classroom and all that. Well, all I hear from Todd Monken is I've seen growth in every single area from Shedeur. So I just think that Deshaun Watson was as locked in as you could be going into this competition, where Shedeur had to earn his way into a competition, then try to earn the starting job. So I think people are looking at Shedeur too much in a negative light. Well, I like you, don't think he's the future of this team. just like Deshaun Watson's not. Dylan Gabriel sure as hell not. I've had people tell me Dylan Gabriel, like, oh, you don't know what he's going to be. He's only in his second year. I do, because I watched him play against an NFL-like defense in the Ohio State Buckeyes in a true game, in a neutral site, in a Rose Bowl, and he looked like crap. And I just had a feeling that that was what it was going to translate to the NFL. And I don't think I guess the only exciting thing tonight is Taylor Green, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the only one we haven't seen anything about. Like, that's the guy I don't know anything about. I'm just here to say that, I think we're taking this opportunity of Deshaun being the starter, which is the wrong decision, and I don't know who's all involved in it. I think we're taking that to then push Shedeur back further down than where he truly is. I know we don't see the behind-the-scenes stuff. I just feel like he had a hill to climb that was as insurmountable as you possibly could get.
Regardless of the hill, regardless of him playing with one hand behind his back, whatever, he couldn't beat out Deshaun Watson for this job. And we have our opinions about Deshaun Watson, of course, off the field, but also on the field. He is bad. He's so bad. He is not good. And we have never seen, he's been here for 6 years. We have not seen a competent quarterback, maybe a half of a game. That's not, dude, I don't know, man. The only thing I can speak for Shedeur is last year was an absolute mess. He was thrown into a situation that would have buried a lot of young quarterbacks, of course. He had an offensive line that couldn't block his sneeze. He had receivers who couldn't separate. Jerry Jeudy, he was his number one receiver. So he had a lot of things going against him. He had Kevin Stefanski who on plays. I won't get into that. He's not here anymore. But nonetheless,
he's got his own quarterback to deal with.
Right. So, yeah, it's a new system. It's a completely new offensive line. It's new receivers, new coach, new coordinators, but that's football, and there might be a learning curve because maybe, Deshaun has been in the league for so long. Maybe he can pick up on offenses, quicker. Maybe he ran a lot of that at Houston. I'm not sure, but he still couldn't beat out Deshaun Watson. And a lot of people are saying, well, maybe, week 3 when it's home, Shedeur, maybe Deshaun will play his way out of the position and then they'll call on Shedeur. And that might be the way to go about it because if you go with Shedeur first and he doesn't live up to par, he doesn't, give people what we expect, which is just competent football, then it's going to be harder to root for the guy. If you go for the bad guy first, then you have somewhat of a hero. If Deshaun Watson starts week 3 at home, it's going to be very bad. Very bad.
No, there's only one way that it
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't even think we can be 2-0, blow out both teams. And if I have tickets to that game, that dude's getting the business. I do not care. I'm done. And I think a lot of Browns fans are like that.
Well, and there are a lot of them like that. And I've had, clips and moments go, I don't want to say go viral, but people have heard them in various ways, various microphones and platforms that I have. I've had people reach out to me that because I make it seem like I am alone, but I'm not. They make sure that I know that I'm not alone in the way that I think about it. And again, people go to you're not a real Browns fan and all of that. Am I watching? Yes, because there's still a Cleveland team playing a game, and it is part of my job. Am I enthralled about going into the season and all the hope in the world normal? Does this feel like a normal? In the back of your mind, it's probably not going to go great, but we got all the hope in the world coming forward. No, it's not. Because reality is right there. I'm driving home today and I'm seeing parking for a preseason game where the third and fourth quarterback are going to be battling for the third quarterback spot tonight. And it's $50-$60 to park.
Gross. None
of this is, get you feeling good or anything like that. And these are the games where families go because, Muni Lot's not really packed. There's going to be some, but there won't be nearly as many drunk idiots in the stands and making it unbearable for parents to try to, manage their kids and, have, not have beer spilled on their kids and all those types of things. It's supposed to be affordable. I don't know. I don't have that same, blindless hope. And I haven't had it for a while, but there's always at least a little bit, you get your fantasy draft set up or however you're doing those types of things now, if you're doing like weekly things or whatever, like, like, okay, NFL's coming. My team is going to be playing and all those types of things. Like there's still that level of excitement that's welling inside of you, even though it doesn't come out outwardly.
Yeah.
I can't get there.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough, man. I mean, this season's gonna be rough. We're gonna be a top 5 pick in next year's draft, and that's what we should be expecting. I don't know. I would have definitely thrown Shedeur out there and see what we got, at least because with Watson is a no quantity, and that quantity is bad. With Shedeur is somewhat of an unknown, and that unknown is at least worth exploring, in my opinion. So I don't know. It's going to be a long season for Browns fans. It's going to be. I still expect that Shedeur Sanders will probably start the majority of the games this season, whether that be because Deshaun Watson's booed out of play because of poor playing on the field or decision making, or I don't know. I just wish this guy wasn't on my team. I'm already over this season. I'm exhausted, and that sucks because we're not even at the first week. So
yeah, I'm right there with you. Like I'm be watching a lot more football on Saturdays than I am on Sundays. Like I know I'll still have, and I'm probably one of the few people that's still doing it. Like just a true like year to year, not a dynasty league or anything like that, but like drafting
draft,
like fantasy football, playing that. There's one league that I'll probably be a part of again. That I've been a part of for the last several years, and that'll be it for that. I'm like, I want to keep track of that. But guess what? All I got to do is open the app, see what's going on, and track the live stats. Like I don't necessarily have to watch all the games, even though I want to. Like, I'll have time for family and things like that. Like being off on Sundays, do some fun things. Like not have to focus on it. And if we get some sort of surprise year, that it'll feel a lot more genuine or but it's not going to happen.
I don't know. If we have a surprise year, I'm going to be pissed. If we play ourselves, how much of a Browns move would it be to play yourself out of a top positional, top quarterback pick in a draft where we may have, 2 to 6 to 9 guys, depending on how the season goes, who could be franchise quarterbacks? That'd be insane. Oh my gosh.
Well, you just said it. That would be the total Browns thing to do, would be to just play well enough.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they play with my expectations, which are poor, because I mean, I know that sounds awful as a fan, but like if you look at the future of this quarterback room, I mean, if Deshaun Watson is going to play a majority of the season, that's not going to be fun. And if Shedeur Sanders, I mean, it'd be so nice if he gets in and just becomes the franchise quarterback. That'd be so great. We could use, I'd be happy, fine with going, winning some games. 8, 9 games, maybe not making the playoffs, but seeing pure development in a player and maybe the possibility of him becoming the franchise guy. But I don't see it, man. We have no time. We have 17 games, and then it's ready to draft Arch Manning or Darian Mensah or Dante Moore or Lenore Stout, one of these guys, So not a lot of time here.
Not a lot of time at all. Real quick before we hit our break, what is the one thing you are watching for tonight in this preseason game where starters aren't playing? I know that people are giving Todd Monken crap that he changed his mind and he was supposed to be this guy that played the starters and stuff. He literally told us he talked to Mike Vrabel. Both teams are dealing with injuries. They had an agreement. I'm not going to fault a guy for changing his mind when he's working with the other NFL coach to make sure that these teams are ready for the regular season and just figuring out the final spots, their 53, and trying to get guys back healthy and ready for week 1. I'm not going to fault them for that. What's one thing you're watching for tonight?
I'm watching Taylor Green, man. I love Taylor Green. I'm so excited. I don't think he's necessarily a future franchise quarterback, but the physical attributes are incredible. I mean, he's 6'6", built like a power forward and moves like a wide receiver. I mean, his long speed is absolutely ridiculous. And once he gets an open field, he eats up the ground like nobody his size should be able to, and his arm is an absolute cannon. He's got a very strong arm, not very much poise with that arm. Hopefully, I would like to see a little bit more development, a little bit more touch on the ball. With Todd Monken, see what he has done with him throughout the last few months. But he's going to be a lot of fun today. He's going to be a lot. And once he's in there, he's going to run the ball. He's going to look like someone who you want to run your quarterback room. Don't be fooled. It's against third stringers, but I think he could win the at least the third string job today. So.
Oh, nobody's going to overreact if it looks great. Will they?
I will. I love him, man.
I'll be watching for that 6 wide receiver spot. I feel like there is that
interesting today with Tillman being cut. So
yes. So now it's down to I think 3 guys for that last spot, and that is Malachi Corley, Luke Floria, and I forget
is it Gage Larvidan?
Gage Larvidan. Yeah. So now that Tillman's kind of, at least for now, out of the picture, I mean, if they bring him back, it's going to be practice squad if he doesn't.
I was very surprised, honestly. I mean, between Tillman and a guy like Corley, I don't know. I mean, I have at least seen flashes. I mean, for fantasy, at least 3 stacked games in a row where he was a very good receiver, and then obviously he's been riddled with injuries. I mean, but I was pretty surprised by that, to be honest.
I'm not, only because all I heard was like every day, like this guy's in, just in the warm-ups, or just like as street close as you could get in Browns gear, basically. Yeah. Just standing on the sideline. I think I heard it on Cleveland Browns Daily. Bo Bishop, Nathan Segura, I think they said, if you're in the tub, and that's like the tub of getting better and like healthy and like trying to do that, if you're in the tub, you can't get in the club. So that basically means guys that aren't, they're not healthy enough. He just didn't have enough.
Does he have an injury designation? Did you see? Could they bring him back on the IR? Okay, I didn't see that either.
It was I think it was Malachi Blackman that they picked up.
Yeah, the corner from the Colts. Yeah,
the corner from the Colts. And waived him, and I did not see something saying that it was an injury designation in that regard, because I think he had been back at practice for at least the last few days, if not last week. Okay. But I know Malachi Corley can also be a returner for you and things like that. I'm interested to see a little bit of that tonight, because we talk about high school football here all the time. Of course, I got a little soft spot for Luke Floria, but what a story to be right on the verge of a 53-man roster when really you were just brought in as a tryout guy.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Out of Kent State, because
you're a local guy.
Local guy, and probably could have made some more noise last year if not for the hamstring injury, and he's just continuing that this year. So we shall see where they go with that. At the very least, practice squad, I think, and he would have his fair share of elevations from the practice squad if he does get to that spot. And that's a good story within itself. Well, we will get to high school football later on. We transition to the baseball diamond. Coming up next, your Guardians are going streaking in a good way. We talk about them next, right here on the Voice of Land on the Inside Edge Network.
Looking for an iconic Cleveland music venue that features premier entertainment, spirits, and food? Well, look no further than the Brothers Lounge. They offer a variety of live entertainment acts weekly, along with a diverse selection of beer, wine, and fine spirits, not to mention Chef Wynn's food menu, which has been crafted with traditional American fare with a modern twist. So come on out and enjoy the warm hospitality and make some new friends right here in your backyard. For more information, head over to brotherslounge.com and check them out for yourself at 11609 Detroit Road. That's right near the border of Cleveland and Lakewood. The Brothers Lounge, proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Key On Sports is the leader in Ohio high school athletic coverage in written, print, and video streaming. From the latest news and results and written content to the high school football game of the week every Friday, Key On Sports has you covered. The vision of 15-time published author Vince McKee has become the most trusted site in Ohio high school athletic news. From podcasts to player profiles, Key On Sports is your one stop for all of it. Visit them today at keyonsports.com or on YouTube at Key On Sports. Check out their socials on Twitter and Facebook as well.
Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to InsideEdgeNetwork.com under our Partners section to find our link to check out all of what Fanatics has to offer. Fanatics, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Inside Edge Network's very own Ryan Mosser and his wife Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northeast Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more by checking out Mosser Moments Photography's link on our partners page at the InsideEdgeNetwork.com website. Mosser Moments Photography, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Welcome back inside the Voice of Atlanta on the Inside Edge Network. Going to be talking Guardians as they have won 7 straight in just a moment, but I got to give a quick good shout out to the Mercyhurst Women's Lakers soccer team as they got their first win of the year. The only reason I bring them up is because I have a player on that team that I coached for the longest time. Their junior center back, Annabella Storr, and her team holding it down 1-0 today against Robert Morris. So they get their first win of the season. A little shout out to a great family and friends, and basically family to us, the Arnolds, the Storrs, and Annabella and her team today getting that first win of the year. But the Guardians have won their last 7 games, including sweeping their West Coast trip to Colorado and to Los Angeles. Well, Anaheim, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. People are saying, well, the Guardian Angels came through for during the weekend series. And it was, you saw everything. You saw offense. You saw really good pitching. You saw the offense pick up the pitching. You saw comeback wins.
Yeah.
You know, it's late August. You only got about a month left in the season. This is the time that you need to start making that push. I mean, you're two games back, 2.5 games back, the division. You're in a good spot, at least in that third wild card. You really need to continue to build some momentum. Are you going to win every game down the stretch? No. But they need to start piecing together these series, especially over this last month. You got to win 2 or 3, 3 or 4, and you have only 3 games left against the White Sox, Ryan, and those are going to be very, very crucial games to really try to get back in the division race, let alone the playoff race itself.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm gonna be real. About 4 weeks ago on the show, I was done with this team, man. I mean, completely done. It was a very hard watch. You know, I wasn't just annoyed; I was exhausted. You know, every night it felt like the same movie on repeat. You know, nobody hitting, nobody driving in runs, nobody stepping up. Even the guys, you know, they traded for, they gave some spark, but wasn't enough to help this team, or, you know, couldn't drag them out of the mud. You know, it just felt like the season was slipping through their fingers, you know, game by game, you know, lower in the AL wild card, you know, race. And it just felt like a ship that was taking on water, man. And I was ready to check out, and, you know, I was mentally ready to move on to the Brown season, college football, everything else, you know, ready to bury the Guardians and move on. But baseball is stupid. You know, baseball is chaotic and emotional, and it will make you, you know, look like an idiot the moment you think you've got it figured it out. Because obviously, like you said, this past week, 7 straight wins, man, insane. Just wow. Like, you know, everything was on point. Like you said, we saw dominant pitching, bottom of the order explosions, clutch moments. Quan with 5 hits. What the heck? Ramirez driving in 5. Comebacks, like you said, down 5 to the Angels and stormed all the way back. Like, that's something. That's a lot of great scenarios and reps that you're getting late in the season. And like I said, I've said this a lot previously. The Guardians have the easiest schedule remaining this season. So if they're going to capitalize, they need to do it. I'm excited. I'm back on, dude. Let's go. I don't know, man. They have to continue, but they're right in the thick of things, and it's not like it was so close between not only just the AL Central but the American League wild card in general. Like, all it took was one good week, and we finally got it, dude. They're cashing in, so I'm excited. They just got to keep it going. So.
Yeah, and really, to get yourself maybe in like a better spot or seeding for the playoffs, like if you do make it, and there's plenty of time left, you probably do want to win the division.
Sure.
Because you're only 2 games clear of Texas in the wild card. Now, really, it's going to come down to probably in the American League, it's going to come down to the winner of the AL Central and the AL East, because the AL East is where the action is this season. I'm looking at it right now. The top 3 teams, Tampa Bay leading 79-54. 3.5 behind them are the Yankees at 75-57. And Boston 73-60, and then it's a huge drop off down to Toronto, who are 65-69. So those top 3 teams, are definitely probably going to make it. The White Sox currently are 70-63. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Guards are 8-2 in their last 10, 68-66. But leading the AL West right now. So we got 2 teams over 500 in the AL Central. You got 3 teams well over 500 in the AL East. AL West leaders, Houston, 66-67. Only a half game back. That's the Texas Rangers at 66-68. So, like, that division can still be determined between Houston and Seattle. Even has a chance because they're 2.5 back in that division, but they're all under 500.
Right.
It really is AL Central and AL East for the American League, and so this can't just be a blip on the radar, a good blip on the radar. This is really where you got to start pushing forward. I think they got a day off at the right time. But now you have Kansas City coming in who, yes, they are 11.5 back of the division, 9.5 back of you, but they are 9-1 in their last 10. So
yeah,
just because
they would love to wreck it up, man. They would love to be the bearer of bad news for the Guardians. So
that's what having the easiest schedule coming down the stretch, that's why they can't read the clippings. They can't read those types of stories. I feel like they got into that false sense of security after the All-Star break a little bit. Like, oh, we came back from 15.5 back last year, and like now we got the easiest schedule. Like, I feel like there was a false sense of security, and they fell into a little bit of a trap there. But your organization said, we have the talent. We are adding to this. Even though we are telling you, you guys have not played well enough, we are still giving you an opportunity. You've earned enough cachet. You've built up enough cachet with how you play each and every single year that we are going to add pieces to this. But if the rest of you don't step up, nothing is going to change. Now you're getting Quan coming back. Now you're getting Jose Ramirez looking like Jose Ramirez. If you can get Bazzana to hit a little bit more. Chase DeLauder, I know he's dealing with a hamstring, but he's hitting well. Then you have Joe Adell, and you got Nathaniel Lowe, who you've added. Now, okay, there's 5 or 6 guys in your lineup. Rocchio's still at the bottom. Like, there's 7. Like, now you have a lineup that is dangerous and deep, but you have to keep pushing those buttons to move forward because the room for error is dwindling. The light is flickering right now for room for error coming down this last month of the season.
Yeah, but for a team that a lot of people, a lot of fans have pushed out, like I said, a lot of people. I'm not alone when saying that. I'm looking on the football season, but now they went from practically no shot at all to now a 57% chance to make the postseason, 30% chance to win the division, and a 30% chance to grab a wild card. Projected 82 wins, and that's pretty crazy, to be honest. Like I don't know. They have to continue, but the additions, like you said, Joe Adell, 17 RBIs in 17 games. Bailey's hitting relatively good. So we have, we still have Austin Hedges, who's another coach out there. I mean, there's some pieces all around, even like the weak spots where there's no excuses, man. Like especially Quan finally hitting again, Jose healthy and looking like he's contributing and not even contributing, but winning games for us. Like now's the time to step on the gas and not slow down. And they've already done that. And I said that last week, but there's no way to slow down. You can't. You got to keep going.
Now you can't have more games like you had from Gavin Williams, where it's one of his shortest, like top 4 shortest outings of his career playing baseball for the city of Cleveland.
I think it's obviously an anomaly, though.
Right, but like it's an anomaly right now. But that can't become a trend. Like 2. 1's an anomaly, 2 is whatever, 3 is a streak, and you don't want to get to that point. I don't think that he will. But then you also have Joey Cantillo, who's pitched pretty well this year, but he had 7 walks yesterday, and giving up the 3 runs, all of those types of things. And he goes 6 innings, but you can't have all those walks. Like you can't get back into a pathway of walking guys. The next teams that each of those 2 guys face, they're going to see that tape from the Angels series, and they're going to be, with Joey Cantillo, they're going to be more selective at the plate. He's going to have to, pound the strike zone like he was getting after it earlier in the season. Gavin Williams, like people know, like they can't take him lightly at all because of what he's done all year. But the more that you show that, you're kind of giving up big hits and things like that, guys are going to become more aggressive earlier in counts against you. So you got to change some things up. He will, Cantillo will, Carl Willis is a master of dealing with pitchers. But again, I'm only saying these things to illustrate the point of margin for error. Yeah. Ability to have mistakes or you give it up a game that you probably should win. Those opportunities are really, really, really slim right now. This team knows it. But if you I understand those like you, because I was almost there of giving up on the team. Like it just, the season, maybe it's just not there. We take for granted making the postseason and kind of been so spoiled by how this team just continues to rally back. I understand people kind of getting off of things this season, at least. But to the people that were just like, Stephen Vogt's got to go, you got to fire this guy, you're seeing why people don't give Stefanski credit for his 2 coaches of the year. This shows that Stephen Vogt deserves the credit for the 2 manager of the year, back-to-back AL manager of the year awards. Like why the Guardians selected him, because we didn't want to hear it, right? Like when he's talking about how like, man, we're getting guys on base and like we're, something's going to break. And he just keeps saying it. But he was right. Like we're starting to see that, but I'm not firing that guy. Like, even if they don't make the postseason, I'm not firing that guy after this year. Right. I think they dug themselves a different style hole this year, and guys have to look themselves in the mirror. But I want that guy managing and driving this ship with this Guardians team.
Yeah. How do you feel about Ralphie Velasquez? Do you think they should call him up? Do you think he should be sitting? I think he could help this team out, man. I don't know. I mean, he's hitting really well. I mean, obviously there's a big transition there, but
yeah.
I don't know if he's ready completely yet, but the bat is real. The approach is real. He's got real growth. He's hitting for average, hitting for power, doing it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he looks without selling out every time, So
yeah, he definitely looks legit. Like you said, that when you jump from single A to double A to triple A, like the jump from triple A to the majors, like
sure.
That's like times 10. I'm not trying to say I'm not trying to manage scared here, because you need as many good bats that you can in that lineup, and the way that he's hitting this year could help. But does that does that stunt his growth by coming up and These are the questions that this organization.
Well, with the potential buyout of next year as well, that's a major contributing factor as well. I would say.
Yeah.
Do you want to bring him up to get him a look, but because otherwise it could be a while until he gets a look. I don't know. It's just
And those are the questions that this organization has to figure out as you get into September. And I don't think the rosters expand as much, but you do get some more leeway with the amount of guys that you have there in that clubhouse. I personally would bring them up, but I understand kind of why they've waited so long. As good
and
as
they do that with prospects, they wait a long time.
I mean, I think he started in AA this year, so and then moved up and stuff like that. So we know that the Guardians are more patient and take more time with that. At this point, you got to push any button that you can to continue to push forward. And that would be, to add more pop to your lineup. That's an option right there. I would bring them up. We'll see what they do, but I can't question too much of what they do, because somehow, some way they find a way to always keep us in it and make it interesting.
I'm tired of being in it. I want to win it, Kevin. Bring him up. Do everything you can. Goodness.
I know it's been 78. Yeah, 78 years since Cleveland baseball has won a World Series. So, and they tell us all the time, everything that they do is about winning the World Series. They don't say winning the division. They don't say making the playoffs. They say everything we do is focused on winning the World Series. Well, at some point, all of this greatness and the league looking at the Guardians as an example for a lot of things, and their pieces of their organization now impacting other teams. And you got a manager like AJ Hinch when he gets to Detroit saying, we got to play like those guys. That's who you have to beat. So you better find a way to play like them to beat them at their own game, because they're not going to let you beat them with your own game. They're going to because their game has been better than ours. Well, at some point, you having such an influence on the entire league needs to translate to you holding the trophy above the league at some point. So, hey, let's just keep it rolling. Kansas City comes in this weekend. You got to find a way to win 2 of 3. I'm not asking for a sweep. They're 9-1 their last 10. You have to win 2 of 3 this weekend. Keep that momentum rolling.
Right.
There are a lot of high school football teams trying to keep momentum from week 1 rolling, and others that are trying to kickstart that momentum. Coming up into week 2, we preview week 2 of the high school football season. Coming up next, right here, the Voice of the Land, the Inside Edge Network.
Dine, drink, and dance at the premier spot in town. It's time to check out all of what our friends over at the Brothers Lounge have to offer. Everything from weekly live entertainment, a wide variety of different beers, wines, and spirits, and an expertly crafted American fare menu with a twist courtesy of Chef Wynn that'll make your mouth water. So, what are you waiting for? Head over to the Brothers Lounge at 11609 Detroit Road, or check out their website, brotherslounge.com, to learn more about what you've been missing out on. Brothers Lounge, proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Keon Sports is the leader in Ohio high school athletic coverage in written, print, and video streaming. From the latest news and results and written content to the high school football game of the week every Friday, Keon Sports has you covered. The vision of 15-time published author Vince McKee has become the most trusted site in Ohio high school athletic news. From podcasts to player profiles, Keon Sports is your one-stop for all of it. Visit them today at keonsports.com or on YouTube at Keon Sports. Check out their socials on Twitter and Facebook as well.
Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans, dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to InsideEdgeNetwork.com under our Partners section to find our link to check out all of what Fanatics has to offer. Fanatics, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Monster Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Inside Edge Network's very own Ryan Mosser and his wife Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northeast Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more by checking out Monster Moments Photography's link on our partners page at the InsideEdgeNetwork.com website. Monster Moments Photography, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Welcome back inside the Inside Edge Network and the voice of the land. Make sure to follow everything going on with the Inside Edge Network. I just had the tweet up, and now, of course, my phone just wants to absolutely go away because I had the whole thing there. But oh my goodness, what is going on with this stinking phone today? Follow the Inside Edge Network at Inside Edge Net, Inside Edge Net, social media, and of course, make sure to subscribe to everything that the Inside Edge Network does. We got daily programming, weekly programming, everything you want, and I'm sure there'll be some Browns special programming coming as well with the Inside Edge Network. We thank all of our partners, especially someone like Keon Sports, who covers high school sports, high school football. They have reporters all over the place. They're calling games. They got articles and everything like that. And that leads us into our preview of week 2 of the high school football season here in Northeast Ohio and in the state of Ohio, because there's this week coming up. There's a lot of there's several matchups, big time matchups with Northeast Ohio schools, but they're not facing a Northeast Ohio school on the other side. One game that last week that stood out before we preview this week, right? Avon and Ignatius, that happened right after we got off the air last week. Man, Mike Elder, what a gutsy call to go for 2 at the end of that one. Did you end up seeing the throw on 4th and 8 that kept Avon's last drive alive?
I did not.
Oh my goodness. You need to go to if you have a TikTok there, Rye, you need to go.
You sounded so old, bro.
What?
You sounded so old. God.
I did. But MGul CLE, there is a video, or at least there's an interview with the wide receiver that caught the 4th and 8 and the 2-point conversion. And in the middle of that video, there is like a close up. You don't see the ball fly the entire time, but if you pay attention, the 4th and 8, Trevor Sikora, the junior quarterback, just drops a dime over the sinking, either safety or linebacker for Ignatius, and just drops it in the bucket. And then, of course, they get the touchdown, go for 2. They win 22-21 last week. We were stuff that I do on the for my other job. We were covering Menor and Olmsted Falls. That was a good game until late. Menor just absolutely took over there. Brogan Jones, the senior quarterback, Logan Burwald, wide receiver at Menor, a name to know moving forward. Those two were absolutely cooking in the second half between Jones and Jones and Burwald. We kind of called it Brogan and Burwald, almost like a law firm. I think week 1 just kickstarted so many things, and week 2 is looking strong.
Yeah, week 1, Massillon Glenville, that was a big surprise for me. Glenville got punched in the mouth, and Massillon's defense was ridiculous. The what's his name? Is it Feaster?
Yeah, Brayton Feaster.
Yeah, yep. Combined for 13 tackles and 6 tackles for a loss with his brother Braden. That's crazy. 6 sacks as well. Just that defense was on fire. Then I forget the Ohio State I don't know if he's not a commitment yet, right? He's the receiver / corner. What is his name? Me.
Yeah, I can't.
But nonetheless, he had a very, very good game on both
Yeah.
sides of the field. I think Ohio State's recruiting him to be a corner. So, but yeah, nonetheless, very, very fun game. Yeah, like you said, Avon. The end of that game was crazy. I didn't watch it, but I heard about it, and that's a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't know, man. Nordonia, I thought looked really, really good.
Stephen Fickle, quarterback.
Yeah, 346 yards, 5 touchdowns last week. Another receiver, Colin Athea, I don't know, 151 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a lot of fun to watch there. So check them out for this week. Yeah, I don't know, a lot of week 2 matchups that are exciting for sure.
So I have my notes right here. I've got a couple pages already going. I need to add some more tonight. So hopefully my boss is okay with me clocking back in tonight during the Browns game. I'm going to be doing some more high school prep. But you mentioned Glenville and Nordonia. Glenville has Olentangy Liberty this week, who ended up losing 15-12 to St. Ed's last week. But Ed's had to kind of come back in that one. Defense for Liberty was, was definitely leading the way. Ed's gets Canton McKinley, so that's a strong 1-0 matchup there. But
That's gonna be a fun one.
Akron East this week. So they have All Ohio cornerback Marcus Council, who was actually at Streetsboro last year with 6 interceptions. So that Nordonia passing attack, they're going to have to, probably throw to the opposite side of the field wherever Marcus Council is, because he's going to be following that same wide receiver you just mentioned. A couple other matchups that I know that are going on this week. I haven't dipped into all the top matchups yet, but Avon gets a Pennsylvania powerhouse.
Yeah, they're good. It's Pine Richland, right? That's their name.
Yeah, Pine Richland. Yep, Pine Richland. They've won their league at least
9 years in
the
a
last
row.
9 years.
Insane.
Going to the district final the last 8 years in a row. But Avon, of course, they're back-to-back state titles in Division II, so that'll be
Pine Richland quarterback is committed to Kent State too, so D1 quarterback there as well. So
Aaron
and a receiver that's going to Nebraska, I think too. So
yes, Khalil Taylor is the wide receiver. See, I got
there you go. Yeah, I did research. I did wrait down the names though. So.
Hey man, that's what you got me for. I got all this stuff written down. Aaron, either Ubi or Obi Strader, like they put that Obi or Ubi in quotation. It's Oobi. That's his.
That's
nickname.
Ubi, baby. That's Ubi.
Ubi.
I would guess.
I wonder why they call him Ubi. That information I didn't see. Might have to go digging a little bit deeper to figure out why his name was that. But Hudson, the Explorers, they go against the Polar Bears of Massillon Jackson this week. Both Hudson, of course, they're one of the teams that opted up to Division I, all the division realignment and stuff like that. They beat it's been a pretty good power lately. Austintown Fitch. Yeah. They beat them last week. And then Jackson just absolutely destroyed Chardon 30. I was surprised by that score. At Chardon, 34-13. Carter Muleman, who I've heard from was either Sports on Tap or Keon Sports, someone at one of those 2 outlets that told me to look out for that quarterback. 256 yards in the air and 3 touchdowns.
Nice.
Last week for Massillon Jackson. So there's some really, really good matchups. Brunswick quarterback Connor Jameson, just a mere 414 yards and 5 touchdowns last week against Berea Mid-Park. And they get Olmsted Falls, who, of course, we just talked about, faces off against Menor. Aurora is at Riverside this week. There's some good ones in the CBC going on as well. So make sure to check out our own production or, kind of content director, AA Anthony Alfer, along with Unfiltered host Kyle. Oh my gosh, why did I forget his last name? Cornell. My gosh.
You're good.
I don't know what I was going to there.
You got all these high school kids in your brain right now.
Dude, there's so many names in here. I'm sorry, Kyle. But Kyle and AA, they do a fantastic job for CBC TV, along with our production director, Peter Tellup, they are always doing a great job with those games, so check them out. There's so many great outlets that are going to be having live game streaming. There's plenty of outlets on Twitter. If you need to catch up, follow that, or check out ESPN Cleveland on YouTube. We got a nice little scoreboard show going on over there as well from 8 to 10 on high school football Friday nights. Not to try
Check
to
it out. Check it out. It's really good. I'm proud of
Double A.
myself here.
I'm not. I have to.
Don't worry about it. Good job, Kevin.
I gotta. Hey, Double A helps us out too. He's sending updates during the game while he's calling the game, so he knows what I do. Everybody at this point, I think a lot of people know what I do, so I can't keep it a secret, but I keep it as separate as I can. All right.
No, guys, go on ESPN 850 on Friday night and listen to Kevin and his boys dominate. Witten and all you guys are just a lot of fun to listen to. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
absolutely.
We had a lot of fun.
Very proud of you.
Thank you. Oh,
buddy.
man, you're gonna make me tear up here. The one thing I will say, Dale, I have to kind of reel him in sometimes. I think this week I need to keep the blinds down as we look out to the east bank of the flats. I think we got to keep if you know why I need to do that. I got to keep the blind down instead of up so that Dale cannot look outside this week. But lesson learned in week 1, and we shall move on to week 2. We got Aurora Riverside, but we'll have all the games for you. They'll be covered all over the place here in Northeast Ohio. High school athletics absolutely flying right now, and get out to your local game if you can. That atmosphere is unlike anything else. So get out to a local game. And my own Wycliffe Blue Devils threw 3 touchdowns in a game for the first time in over 16 years.
Wow.
Last week. Yeah.
You said the Browns?
No, Wycliffe.
Oh,
the Blue Devils.
Sorry, I thought you said the Brown.
One of 10 million Blue Devils in
right.
in Ohio. But you ever heard of Bradford?
I've not.
I think there was a 3.5-hour bus ride that Wycliffe had to take because Oberlin, unfortunately, they lost their program.
I think all their players went to Wellington, though. So at least, at least there's something there. So
it was sad to, see the official word that Wycliffe's boys soccer team lost their season this year without numbers. So they're playing for Willoughby South. Support your local communities, all the local sports. And if you have kids that seem like they're interested, let's make youth sports a little more affordable, and then let's get more kids into youth sports and make sure that everybody has an opportunity to play and find that passion, whether it's in sports, in the theater, in the classroom, or beyond. Make sure to support any way and every way that you can. Right, that's going to wrap it up for this edition.
Yeah.
Less than an hour this week. Well done. Well done.
Doesn't happen often.
No, it does not, because we can go for a long time. But for Ryan Mosser, I'm Kevin Arnold. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Greeny Sports Cards. Thank you to everybody at the Inside Edge Network, all of our partners, and condolences to all those that have lost loved ones, those that passed away, even within the last week. And we send all of our prayers and love out to all of those impacted by tragedy and loss of life. Thank you so much for tuning in. We truly love you all, 3,000. Yeah, I'm changing it up. Don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. It's because love matters the most. Don't talk about it. Be about it, right?
Yeah, real quick, right after this, about 10, 15 minutes, I'm going to go live on the Commissioner's Couch Fantasy Football Podcast. We're going to go over the NFC training camp news. Check us out right after this. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Check them out and live life. All gas, no breaks. We'll see you next time right here on the Voice of the Land on the Inside Edge Network.